Help us.
Sure. All right. Silent Power Podcast, episode
Five.
5.
Yes. We made it. This is our the second month we're starting right now.
Wow, that is wild to think
Yeah.
about, man. It's,
Here we are back in the park in the east side of Los Angeles.
yep. Welcome back. How are you today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It's been some good sun.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to, as we get closer and closer to summer. There's always fun stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
And good weather.
Yes, for sure.
Sun is just out longer, and I like that.
Yep. Do you like when you rise up in the morning early, or you prefer to have it like at night when you have a nice sunset, like later in the night in the day?
Man, it's a good question. I definitely want to enjoy as much of the day as possible. So I think I'm gonna have to say, get up early,
Mm.
and I think the earlier the better because there's always this period of time in the morning.
Yeah.
You gotta shake off the sleep and the evening and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's an old Japanese tradition. A lot of older Japanese people will do this where they open all the windows in the morning, first thing in the morning, even if it's really cold, because it lets all of the old spirits of yesterday out and brings in the new air, fresh air for the new day.
Interesting.
So,
Do you do this now?
yeah, I at least open up my door,
Okay, yeah.
So I let some fresh air
Yeah.
in, and anything that helps me like get up
Yes.
is a good thing. So yeah, a couple windows.
I do that. I mean, as soon as I get up, I open my curtains. But I actually open my curtains before. So what I do is like I kind of wake up about 30 minutes before I would normally wake up, get up. So I get up and I open my curtains
Good, very
to
good.
have the sunlight. It just helps me to, and I go back to bed for like another 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, just sit for a bit, enjoy.
But having the light, just maybe not the sun. The sun is not like up yet, but it's a little bright outside.
Right.
So it helps me out to like wake up.
Yeah, that sounds about spot on right
Yeah.
there because sunlight entering into your eyes,
Mhm.
it'll do that. It's
Yeah.
almost like your cup of coffee,
Mhm.
except not quite the same. I was
Not
gonna
the
ask
same.
you a little bit about that. What's a couple of things that are your must-dos for your morning routine when you wake up? You just said 30 minutes before your actual alarm goes off, you open some windows, open some curtains,
Yeah.
maybe let the light in.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you do after that?
Well, as soon as I get up, I would go straight to the kitchen, get my hot water. So I boil some water, and then
Excuse me.
put that in my cup, and then I add some cold water to it just to cool down the temperature of the water. Because after that, what I do is like I squeeze some lemon in it, some lemon juice.
So that's interesting. So you do a little bit of, let's just say, still hot water. You
Yeah.
put a little bit of cold water to cool it down so you don't burn your mouth.
Yeah,
But,
it's mostly not to burn my mouth, but it's more to for the nutrients of the juice, the lemon juice, to keep it like still vibrant.
Right.
Otherwise, like the boiled, like the super hot water, like kind of like kills.
You don't want to
everything.
boil the lemon juice.
Yeah,
'cause-
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So pretty warm water.
Yeah.
Couple drops of lemon juice.
Mhm.
You take an actual lemon, you slice it, and you squeeze
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And you feel like that wakes you up pretty good, or just feels good.
I don't think it's too. I think it does. You're right. It does wake me up, but it does wake up my body mostly, my digestive system too. And what I've noticed is like it calms down your nervous system as well.
Right.
For some reason, I think the hot water does that effects on your body when you wake up, because you have a lot of you can like anxiety. When you wake up, you want to try to do something, whatever. And then it brings me like to a state where it calms me down,
Yeah.
and I can sit down. I do a few stretches, I do some the cat cow just to wake up my spine,
Right.
get things moving slowly, and then after what I do is like I sit down and meditate for about at least 20 minutes, and that
Oh
would
my
be
gosh.
the things I do in the morning, every morning.
Dude, that is so brilliant, and that none of that like takes long at all, and
No,
you're
no,
pretty set to go. You nailed it though, and I felt it particularly this morning. I definitely get a little bit of anxiety in the morning, and my bad habit is, I mean, just to check my schedule, but I do look at my phone just
yeah,
to kind of
hmm
see what's going on. And it always kind of hits me the same, even if it's a day off of work. I always think, oh my gosh, I have so many things I have to do today,
yeah,
and it's paralyzing, to be honest, man. It
hmm
makes me want to stay in bed.
yeah, yeah,
So it's yeah, this is very good for me, man. I'm
yeah,
gonna try this out. So yeah, so open up the curtains a little early,
yeah,
chill out for a little bit.
yeah. Chill out. That's why I go back to bed. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm taking that time, you know.
and then when you feel like, all right, time to get up, you
Yeah.
get up, boil some water, do the lemon juice,
hmm
sip it down.
Yeah.
That calms your nervous system down. It
Yeah.
gets your appetite going.
Yeah.
And then you do your body stretches, essentially your cat
Yes.
cow and all of that.
Yeah.
You do those out of the bed, or do you do those?
Out of bed. Yeah. I have
Right,
my yoga mat. I just do that in the middle of my living room.
right.
I just do that right there, and then it's like I like to be in the center of the room when I do this. Somehow I don't know why. I've noticed that lately. It was like, hey, this is where I like to do it.
Yeah. Well, in your mind, you're like centered in the middle,
Yeah.
and hey, the morning's about you, so
Yeah.
be in the center.
Like I don't want to be in a corner, or I don't want to be like in a restricted space. I want to be
Right.
like right open space, and then I don't know. There might be like an energy reason for it.
Yeah,
But
that's something you just gravitate to naturally.
yeah.
That's really cool. There's also, and I might include this in there too. There's these yoga teachers on YouTube they have these in bed stretches. So
Yeah.
even before you get out of bed, you can do the little knee raise,
Yes. Yeah.
those kinds of stretches and
Mhm.
stuff. And they have whole like 10-minute routines of
Yeah.
that. There's pretty popular channels like Yoga with Adrian, but there's also Yoga with Bird, who's very, very cool. Yeah, her name's Bird.
Okay.
And yeah, those are some pretty cool channels, but they
Yeah.
have a lot of the stretches in bed, and they have yoga for digestion,
hmm
which is kind of cool, kind of
So
important.
before you wake up, before you get up.
Yeah, before you
Okay,
get out of
okay,
bed.
okay. Oh wow.
So yeah, so it does exist,
Uh huh.
but I don't. That could be good, and that could be, make me want to stay in bed for too long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
So
I guess it depends how you feel the moment when you wake up.
yeah,
But yeah, interesting. I never tried. I used to do the stretches, but more like trying to stretch my full body,
sure.
like in both different ways,
Yeah,
opposite ways. But yeah, I never tried to do the knee up or stuff like that.
right. Yeah, it's all good. Any body movement, I think, is good.
Yeah.
Do you leaf? Do you listen to any music or a podcast or anything?
No.
Do you try and
No,
put
no,
anything in your
no.
mind? Just complete silence.
Well, when I actually do meditate with some sound bath.
Nice. I love
From
the
just
quartz bowls.
Yes, just like from YouTube, I found one where the quality is pretty high quality,
Yeah.
great. So the sound is great, and then just do that. Sometimes do it without anything,
Right.
but yeah, that's
Depends
how.
what you're in the mood for.
Yeah, it really I think it just like speeds up the process of putting me in a very good mind state.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And that, kind of gets rid of the morning anxiety. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I have to do so
Yeah.
much stuff today.
Yeah, I think the number one thing people should do when they wake up is nothing. It's
Way ahead of you. No, I'm kidding, but
do nothing. I think this
Yeah.
is it's to me. I don't know about you. What do you think? I think for me, it's like the most important time of the day.
yes.
It's as soon as you get up. What do you do? Like observe yourself. Try to be in the moment. If you don't do these things, you always kind of like feel behind with everything you want to do throughout the day,
Yeah, it definitely
right?
sets the tone,
Yeah,
and it's almost like, making a first impression when you meet somebody new.
yeah,
If it's a really weird, awkward situation, then it's gonna kind of be like that every time you see that person.
yes,
But if you make and it's all simple habits, the simple habits of just ensuring that your morning is good when it
yeah,
can be. When you're home and it's a normal day for you, make sure that that is a very great thing,
hmm
very impeccable start. And it goes into I like Steve Harvey.
yeah,
He does all the game shows, and he's started out as a comedian, so he's very funny. But have you ever seen any of his at the end of his talk shows? He'll do very profound discussions that are not funny; they're just really, really good.
mm,
And one thing he says, and this is kind of what we're talking about, is put a coat of armor on your mind before you step
mm,
out of the door,
yeah,
and whatever that
yeah,
means, whatever your morning ritual is. But
yeah,
go outside your door
yeah.
with the right mindset.
Exactly. You gotta expose yourself to the outside world ready.
Yeah.
If you're not ready, you're gonna be influenced by it, and you'll be more on a reactful,
Yes.
side of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's for like my body and my mind, and then I will also like as soon as I open my eyes, now I have the reflex to like just like thank God for another day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Exactly. The gratitude, man.
yeah, I would say like that's what I do when I get up before my alarm goes off. When I
Right.
open my curtains, this is what I would do is just like thank you God, and you have the light coming in of
Take
like
it all in.
yeah, that's when you get to feel the most gratitude,
Yes.
and that helps so much because you rest after. It's I don't know, it's a really interesting process.
You
But
have
the whole
control of your
thing,
mind.
yeah, the whole thing is it just sets you like for the day in the
Yeah.
best way possible.
Yes. So I'll add two things into the excellent morning routine that you've already pretty much set up as
Yeah.
well. And these are definitely two that I do. One of them is I have a gratitude journal that I make sure every day that I add three things every
Yes.
day. And it could be whatever. There's no judgment. It could be something silly. It could
Mhm.
be something that, if people read it, they'd be like, wow, that's very weird.
Yeah.
Jumping in puddles.
Yeah.
I don't know. But hey, be grateful for things,
Mhm.
because that is going to be what starts off
Yeah.
the right mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm very into what people call the Mozart effect. So I'm
What is
very
that?
sensitive to, music and sounds and stuff, which is why I asked you listen to stuff in the
Yes.
morning. So the Mozart effect is if you listen to the right kinds of music, and in this case it's classical music, it's Mozart. Um, people will say that your intelligence will go up.
Yeah.
You'll study better.
Yeah.
You'll be just overall better and ready for anything. So I go on my runs. I do little tiny runs, but every day, I do like 2 to 4 miles, even 1.5 miles sometimes. Most of the time, it's listening to happy Johann Sebastian Bach music.
Mm.
And I just looking at the picture that they put for the thumbnail is just a picture of Bach with a cup of tea and he's laughing like this. And just seeing that picture it just does something for me. And then you hear
That's a
the
great
music.
thumbnail.
Yeah. And I feel like almost like laughing with joy as I'm running or as I'm,
Yeah.
cleaning my apartment. So I think, and it doesn't have to be classical if someone's truly not interested in that kind of music, but it does have to be positive music. We talked about this last podcast, and I really took it to heart. Clearing out a lot of the, negative, angry,
Yeah.
sad music.
Mhm.
I think, and there's a lot of beautiful, sad music. There's really beautiful,
Yeah.
depressing music and everything. Definitely, no doubt about it, which is why I was so attracted to it for a long time. But it's important for your headspace
Mhm.
to put the right vibrations
Mhm.
in your mind.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even if you're doing something boring like
Yeah.
cleaning or stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
All the time. It's either silent or great music,
Or
like
positive.
music,
Yes, exactly.
and or inspiring, or that makes you feel grateful. Anything that makes you feel like inspired to feel good about yourself. I think mostly
Exactly.
anything else than that, you need to go into that space where with a lot of awareness
Right.
and pay attention to how your body's gonna respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love sometimes um, yeah, put a few tracks of hip hop or sometimes rock music.
Sure.
It'd be like 3 tracks.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little dose.
and it gives me like a bit of motivations. It's energy. It's very energetic, recordings. So
Yeah.
you can feed out of this. But other than that, after that, that's it. That's all you need.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
There's what I kind of did a couple of days ago, for a few days is there's because I love video games and I love the 16-bit stuff, the old school
Do you
stuff.
still play?
No, I don't play very often at all.
Yeah.
But I love one of the things that I love about games is the music. And it's continued to be very, very inspiring to me as a musician and as a potential. I want to compose some of it. But I love it's called chiptune. It's your 16-bit sound.
Yeah.
It's just your blips and noises.
Yeah.
And it's always just baffled me how composers with such a limited set of tools
Right.
can make unbelievable music.
Yeah.
I love it sometimes. And it does dabble into the areas of hip hop and, 80s hair metal,
Yeah.
rock and roll for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like emulating all of the styles of its generation.
With its capacity.
Yeah, exactly. So for a couple of nights, I was just listening to a bunch of my favorite old games soundtracks that were all totally a bunch of blips and noises.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for some people it's very annoying, but
You blasted.
for me it's inspiring. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's such cool music.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a couple of games like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, which is where you're actually a lawyer and you have to solve murder mysteries. And it's all a dialogue game where you have to pick the right answers and you have to find evidence and stuff. And it's some of the best storytelling I've ever come across.
Nice.
And it's so much fun. And it's also very entertaining and definitely pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the music for that is just impeccable. It's just so right on. And then
there's a huge culture around the gaming world.
Without a doubt.
The music has such a huge important place, and then what it translated into something that's so unique too. It really like created a genre for it. It's so like I'm not a gamer. I would play a game on like PC.
Sure. So you know a little bit of how good it can get.
Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
That would be.
You did Warcraft.
Yeah, oh my, yeah. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the fact of
it's too good.
building, your village that becomes a bigger town, and
then you get into wars,
and then you gotta collect gold and wood, and you chop wood and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I used to go to my neighbor's house. I never played Warcraft at all, but I would watch my neighbors play, and they were so crazy about it. And I'd be like, hey, I'm here. I came over to hang out and play. And like, yeah, I'm almost done. They'd be like on a guild or whatever it's called, just like for hours. I'm like, oh, it's dinner time. Look, I gotta go, man.
Yeah.
But no, so I can totally, so that's the thing too. Playing the games, it can be challenging because for one, you don't pay attention as much to the beautiful details, like the music and stuff, and just the art as well. Unless you could see it all and hear it all really quickly. But a lot of it goes by so quick, which is also why it's very attention grabbing as well.
Yeah.
So I haven't really sat down and played a game. It's definitely been over a month. I've kind of, I have everything still, but I've hacked it away.
Yeah.
I still listen just to the music. I'm like doing a hard focus on game music.
Yeah.
It's been rewarding.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy it. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good job on not playing games much anymore.
It just takes a lot of time, man. That's the one issue is our time is definitely finite.
And you think, what do you think about like what do you get from it?
From not playing games?
From actually playing games.
Right. Well, not so much. You get a very small sense of accomplishment. A couple hits of dopamine along the way.
Yeah.
but nothing that you can take with you
Yeah.
unless you power up your console.
Right.
You know, but I like the music.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were like able to keep the one side of it that you actually enjoy
Yeah.
without having the downside of like spending so much time playing game
And it's getting expensive too. So,
right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they announced the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm a big Nintendo guy. The Nintendo Switch 2 is going to come out in June. It's like at least $450, and that might go up. And then games are up to some games are like $80
Yeah,
for
wow.
a game, and I'm sure it's very good. It's probably the best it's ever been, no doubt about
Sure.
it. A lot of
Yeah,
hard work
sure.
goes into it.
Yeah.
But my God, man.
I remember when games were like $20, $30.
I probably shouldn't even tell you this, but there is such a thing as emulators. So you can get like this little console and you can get thousands of games on there completely for free.
Yeah.
As long as they're old enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that totally is the thing. And it's a dangerous thing for me because I like the retro side of things. I don't care so much for all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Which there's good new stuff, but man, if you're telling me that there's like several treasure chests full of free old games, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, that's don't tell me that. That's scary.
Yeah. So if there are like any listeners or gamers, and then just don't reach out Mike for
Yeah,
old
don't even
games
tell
and
me
stuff
about
like
it,
that.
man. Don't
Don't distract him, please.
I love you all, but I don't want to know. But the music is still very, very good. And so this is really, really important. This actually kind of brings me to a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
You know about Alex Hermosi?
Sure.
He's so awesome. I've been listening to a couple of his videos, and one thing like definitely sent me down a deep rabbit hole of thought is he was talking about focus.
Right.
And I felt like this week, it was Easter week, and there's a lot of like more free time in my schedule, so my focus started to get a little wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And Alex Hermosi says that focus is not so much about what you do,
No.
it's more about
What you don't do.
What you don't
Yeah.
do. Oh my goodness. So that's incredible right there.
Yeah.
You can focus more on the one thing. If you focus on one thing for long enough, then you're going to be unbelievable at it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
check this out. So yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things he says and does. I don't really agree of some other parts of what he says.
Sure.
But any great like authors, crazy amazing authors,
Yeah.
or scientists, or all these people, most of the time,
Yeah.
when they work, they spend hours working. They don't look at the time going. They just like keep working for hours. They get into a flow state, and you look at their environments,
Mm-hmm.
it's two things. One thing is very much about it's a dark room.
Right.
It's a dark room. There's not much, distracting them. There's nobody around them.
Right.
And in a way, this is why a lot of them needs addictions.
Right.
They need addiction to cope with the fact that they are alone in a dark environment.
Right.
And for them to be focused on what they are doing.
Right. Right.
So
a lot of them smoke.
Yeah.
Or drink heavily.
And Alex Hermosi talks about that, where he would put himself in a room without any windows, or he would just put blackouts.
Right.
And spend the day working, so he has like zero distraction. Nobody can call him, and he just like focus on one task at a time and do it, for like hours.
Do it proper. Yeah.
And that's what I love about him, for real.
Yeah. And how did he achieve that? He took everything out. Nothing that can distract him. Nothing that can, avert his attention in any way at all.
Yeah.
So he could just, and it's amazing, how much you can get done, obviously, and how much you can get done in small increments of time.
Yeah.
It's like without any distraction. I like the Pomodoro timer and things like that, where it's
Yes.
just 20 minutes of hard work and then however many minutes
Yeah.
of little free time.
Yeah.
But that's just the micro superpower moments of focus are incredible, and it comes from taking out a lot of things.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's all about this.
Yeah.
It's all about that. And then yeah. One thing though, I think it's sometimes tricky for the way he conveys message about focusing and like just do the hard work.
Right.
And I hear a lot of people in that space talking about that, like entrepreneurs, where they're like, the only way I made it happen is to focus on one thing, and it was brutal. It was hard. I isolated myself from anybody else.
Right.
I was almost on the verge of being depressed. I was just being focused on achieving that one thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's it is true for some people, but not everybody.
Right.
Or one is the same. Not everybody is the same, but also not everybody is in that same time in their journey.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And so it's
good and not so great.
it's good and not so good. I think yeah, you gotta take what you can take from them.
Yep.
And then at some point you just can be like, cool, I got that, but how can I apply this for myself?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's everyone wants a good like success story of, wow, I worked really really
Yeah.
hard and I accomplished this and I gained this incredible thing.
Uh-huh.
But I am way more interested in the longevity game.
Yeah.
And if it's something you can do every day, even if it's a simple thing, I think that's way more simple and
Yeah.
way more attractive
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Because that's it doesn't make sense to like hardcore focus and then, okay, what after that? You're just going to keep living your life like that, super
Yeah.
intense all the time? No, that's going to make you depressed. That's
Yeah.
going to ruin you.
Because how do you get out of this once you actually succeed in something?
Right.
Where you want to go?
Trap.
If you keep like, if your habits of living is working hard,
Yeah.
when you get to actually like when you succeed in something or like launch a product that is successful,
Right.
you be such in a habit of like working hard, you're gonna find something else. You're gonna need something else to keep entertaining this lifestyle
Right.
of
Exactly.
working hard. And I think you gotta, at the same time, don't expect balance, because I don't think don't get anything
that's
great
out the window.
with balance.
Yeah.
But be aware that sometimes you need to find your own way
Right.
that nobody else teaches.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think it's a very important point too.
Yeah. That is so important. Yeah, you can't. It's not something. It's like David Goggins losing 100 pounds in less than 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be like that forever.
Yeah.
But you can. I like the idea of try hard when you need to, but also try easy.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a penny and no penny. And people will say, well, it's a 1 penny is hardly anything. That's insignificant. No, there's a big difference between 1 and 0.
Sure.
It's all the difference.
It's not in the amount of it.
Right.
It's in the fact that
Yeah.
there is something and that there is nothing.
Yeah, that's 100% difference.
For me, it's like, if I make $10 on something I enjoyed making and doing, and I provide service I love, I made $10 in an hour. I celebrate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like so proud of myself for being able to do that, versus than trading my time for someone else's dream, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then so that's the value here. You got to focus on, I think. And,
yeah.
And
Did I
everybody
realize what I just did?
exactly, and everybody's got to find this out for themselves, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
It's you got to find that. You got to find your ikigai,
Yeah.
which is like, not only does it make you money, but does it fulfill you spiritually? Does it make you happy? Does it change lives?
Yeah. Exactly.
All of those things are so important,
Mhm.
and that's all within. You got to find whatever that
Yeah.
is, and it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
I like people, so the more that I can change a life, even if it's not for a whole lot of money, it's like that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
For real.
yeah, and then you have people that are thinking. It not only is it just like in that moment, but you're actually inspiring people to think like you
Mm-hmm.
and to you do things similar in your way, which is
Yeah.
always an honor.
Yeah.
That's always very sweet.
Yeah.
So
How do you which so right now you teach music
yeah,
and you are about to like start to train people as well.
right.
And do you think that you find this in these areas right now? You can, where you, yeah, it's fulfilling for you to bring something very
Oh,
valuable to people.
absolutely. My life mission, if I had to write a mission statement for myself, is to just help as many people as I can. And teaching music is wonderful, not only for teaching the instrument side of things, but it also teaches so many life lessons.
Yeah.
It teaches you to be responsible.
Mm.
It teaches you to do things even if it seems like it's simple. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, go through it, man. Go
Yeah.
through those things. I know that you can do your warm-up exercises, we always do,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm certainly not telling you to not do them,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're extremely easy.
Yes.
So I think the mindset of a musician is a very powerful one, and music is hard,
Mm.
you know. Um, so it's good to like know how to do anything that's challenging
Yeah.
methodically.
Yes.
Try easy. And I think definitely for fitness, that is, there's so many people that need just a little guidance, inspiration, just a
Mm.
little bit of expertise, like you've done for me. Like you've shown me, look, okay, if you warm up this way, and today we're going to focus on these different body parts, legs, core, and back.
Mm.
That's going to be a huge amount. That's going to be great right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Take a little break here.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those things are like going in that dark room and focusing for 24 hours. It's just a little window of the day.
Yeah.
And if you keep coming back to that, then that's not nothing.
Yes.
That's going to grow. Anything that you focus on grows.
Yeah.
And that can be for positive things and for negative things.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people definitely, I think everybody wants to be more fit, especially, in America.
A lot of people, yeah.
You
sure.
know, so and it's just my philosophy is try easy.
Yeah.
You can certainly try hard, never saying no to that, but doing a little bit of something easy is the penny.
Yeah.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
100% difference right
Yes.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And the worrisome thing for me with teaching a lot of musicians, and it could be with fitness clients as well, is the talent trap.
Mm.
So the talent trap to me is people coming in with a bit of prior knowledge and just a fast learning set, just good skills already.
Yeah.
It can stunt growth
Sure.
for sure.
Yep.
I've seen this happen for me. I will admit that as a young kid in middle school, I took to music pretty well. I picked up a clarinet in elementary school, and I really loved music, and I
Yeah.
just really kind of. But I definitely, once I started doing band, I definitely started to get lazy.
Mm.
I was like, okay, I made it here. I made it into the band, and I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So other people continued the work when I didn't continue the work, and they, got chair placements higher than me, and it started. I'm like, what's going on? I thought I was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and talent can be kind of a mindset thing, because it's okay to have talent.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, like, where is it coming from?
Right.
Like, where, when you think you're good enough,
That's
so you
ego.
can, yeah, right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Is it comparing yourself to others, or is it thinking that you're better than others?
It's certainly, that definitely has a part to
Yeah.
it. And perhaps that talent could be from, when I first picked up my first instrument, yeah, I did work hard. I worked hard in the past. So
Yeah.
it's like this, I did it already, and look at where I am. I'm better than a lot of these people. I'm equal with them.
Yeah.
So I'm good. And a lot of people, they may not outright say it like that, but their actions are speaking pretty loud.
Yeah.
So and similar thing happened to me all the way up into college too.
Yeah.
I got into that big band. I got into the big concert band that was very prestigious, and I had that I'm good mentality again.
Yes.
So it definitely catches up with you.
Is there a way where you can tell yourself I'm good, but at the same time not be too arrogant about it with yourself?
You gotta. I think it's visualization is key, and it's also definitely not comparing yourself to others for thinking you're better or not as good.
For validation.
It's very easy as a kid in school to only compare yourself to the environment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that plays a huge role, and I think it's extremely important for anybody hearing this, whether you're a kid in school for music or for sports teams and stuff. Watch concert bands, watch live professionals, watch NBA games, watch the top of the top, and don't compare yourself to your school every day.
Yeah.
Because that is how you really, really grow. I think if you're just comparing yourself to, your teacher's expectations and your colleagues' expectations, that's certainly a trap right there, because you're not going to rise up to that.
Yes.
But you can try really, really hard. You can work extremely hard, but you got to also be mindful of the longevity game.
Yeah.
And I think habits are unbelievably important for that. Make them atomic habits.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Play your instrument a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And think about, how am I going to get to this really hard technique? There's a couple of slap bass techniques that I do a little bit of slap, but there's a couple of things I see, Victor Wooten and Stanley Clark and Marcus Miller doing. I'm like, oh my gosh, if only I could do that.
Yeah.
Well, what if you had a student that said, hey man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to do what those guys are doing. What do you say to him? What would you say to your younger self?
Yeah.
Well, do it ridiculously slow.
Yeah.
Incredibly slow. Just do the technique. It's like, here, I'll give you one example. It's the double pop, 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 with the index and middle. So you'll see them do it remarkably fast. And of course, they didn't start off doing it. Nobody did.
Yes.
You got to do these things slow enough so it doesn't feel brutally hard.
Yeah.
And then you got to come back to it the next day and do it slow again. And the next week and month, slow again.
Yeah.
Keep it going, and it will get easier. So, yeah, I think the consistency game obviously is always going to trump the work extremely hard in a small pocket of time game, because there's people that have accomplished many great feats, and a lot of retired athletes and authors and stuff. I did this, I did that.
Yeah.
And what are you doing now?
Yeah.
It's no problem in relaxing.
A lot of people do that. Like, in college I was like this fit. I could run this way. Yeah.
MVP.
I was that great, musician. I used to do that. And then we pretty much live in the past where it's it sounds kind of sad in a way if they are trying to put too much emphasis on that person they were before.
Exactly. It's a slippery slope into depression. Yeah, for sure, without a single doubt.
Because it's crazy to exactly. Like comparing yourself to the past, knowing that you were better at that thing before, and it reminds you like all the time, like, I'm not this anymore.
Right.
So you actually really get the fact of that you're not that of a good person in that field anymore.
Right, and that's horrible. And that is an awful feeling.
Yeah, you gotta either if you were doing karate before,
and a black belt,
you don't do it anymore. You gotta stop. You just don't do it. You just I used to be a Karate Kid or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't do it anymore.
You forget everything.
But then you gotta, if you still try to pursue that, not pursue, but try to
Get back
talk
into
about it. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I used to do that and this, and used to be fit, and could be like, do the throw
But
these high
now
kicks
I'm
and all
not
that
so
stuff.
good like I used to be.
And then you keep bringing that in conversations, like by trying to, like, this is what I used to be, like,
Right.
This is very dangerous.
Yeah, it's so dangerous.
It's very different mindset.
And it doesn't feel good either.
Yeah.
None of that's good. It's all about what do you, and it's okay to have that big cookie jar of your accomplishments like Goggins talks about, if he's having a hard time during.
Yeah, you can
any
remind yourself what you've done before. Yeah.
But at that time, he's also running in the present moment.
Yeah, it's still doing it, but this day is like keep pushing the same thing pretty much.
Exactly. I like to think of what my dailies are, and it can be the simplest things.
Yeah.
But what's those things that are going to keep you not reminiscing on your past self, thinking about, hey, I'm still that guy and better. And I'll tell you, for me, I've been sticking to two habits that I must do every day, and one of them is running a little bit and skateboarding a little bit.
Yeah.
I've always been a skate rat ever since I was 10, and I love it. I love the culture. I get so hyped when I just see a little clip of someone doing a cool trick. It makes me go out loud. Whoa! It gives me that moment even in this age.
Yeah.
So I've been skateboarding at least 15 minutes, usually 20 minutes every day. And as a result, all the tricks that I, was able to do, I have them down almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got really close the other day to doing a brand new trick. I haven't done a backside flip.
Uh-huh.
So it's a backside 180 and a kick flip.
Oh, wow.
And I realized, well, if I take the baby steps and if I think like, okay, I have a skateboard student that wants to learn a backside kickflip, what would I tell them?
Yeah.
I've never landed this trick before.
Yeah.
So we both have to kind of learn it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just took myself on as my own student.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you certainly have to do that. And that takes demolishing the ego.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like, I don't know how to backside flip. I've never done it before.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do about it now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got my feet on the board. I jumped off, but I got very, very close yesterday, actually. So I'm like more pumped than I ever was in my teen years.
Can't wait to
do it.
Can't wait to hear you say like, yeah,
I did it. Yeah, I did 3 of them. That's my thing with skateboarding. And I saw a video. There's a teaching video page called Braille, and one thing that was really great was skateboard a little bit every day and do 10 of every trick. Even if it's the easiest stuff, start with those. Don't skip anything. But do 10 of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And man, just that has been so remarkable for me. There's these tricks that like would take me normally like several tries to land one of them, and I'm doing 10 in a row.
Wow.
Kickflip body varials.
It really sounds like it's not a workout program, but something that you really train for, like in a way of like.
It's a discipline.
Yeah, like a discipline. Like if I would practice my drums,
right,
I'd be like working on that for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And
pay attention on the way I move and everything.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this. You like do the 10 in a rows, and then, do them like the best form as possible.
Right. And you never think, oh, I know how to do that already, so I'm not going to do it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to play drums. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
And that is such a trap right there. That was my previous mindset. I know how to do it already, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
What the heck kind of thinking is that? How dare you?
Well, this is, it's okay. I mean, most people will all go through that anyway. Mm-hmm. That phase is where
you got to learn.
Yeah, you got to learn.
It's better to learn when you're young, when you're in school.
Do you think over time do you have any issue with procrastination?
Oh my God. It's like my middle name. No, it's definitely another slippery slope, and it's such a trap, which is why I emphasize just try easy. Because for me, procrastination, it's not a laziness thing. It's an actual, like, my mind saying, oh, this is going to be... my mind builds it up to be something so difficult, and you got to put in this giant effort that I don't even want to start.
Right.
That to me is where my procrastination comes from.
Yeah.
It's gonna, and that even starts with the morning sometimes. Oh my God, I'm so tired this morning. I don't want to get out of bed. That's gonna be the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
Just get out of bed.
Yeah.
Open your curtains.
Yeah.
And sit back down for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not so. So you gotta like convince your mind, to do something little.
Yeah.
Well, can it do this? I love listening to Jordan Peterson sometimes because his "Clean Your Room" speech. Have you heard it?
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah, okay.
And you could have a very, very messy place that you're staying at, and yeah, everywhere you look, there's stuff everywhere, and there's things that need to be fixed, and there's all this garbage, and you're like, oh my God, I don't even want to start.
Yeah.
Can you put this piece of clothing in your hamper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do that. Start there.
Yeah.
And then just sit with that satisfaction.
It's like when you have so much dishes in your, in your sink, and just start with like one fork.
Just do one. Yeah, just do a fork.
And then see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And more often than, as you obviously know, more often than not, you're going to do two forks. You're going to do all the utensils. You might even throw a plate in there.
Yeah. And
before you know it, all you have is like one thing left.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, it'd be ridiculous if I stopped.
Not finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It goes kind of back to what we talked about a little bit last week. It's like you do the little things and then you do see results on wherever you're focusing on. And it gets to a point where it's like, hey, this feels too good to stop. It feels too, like, look, I did almost all of my dishes.
Do you think this is when you have some kind of like reward to do something that you really didn't want to start doing?
Without a doubt.
Okay, yeah.
I think that
and you start to have like to trigger something, your brain was like, yeah.
And we're very visual, human beings are visual. So when we see this big difference that we did, but we do, we're silly. We have to we have to trick ourselves a little bit.
For sure.
And that comes into we have control over ourselves all the time. You got to trick yourself, not only into, doing these cleaning your house habits and, fitness and studying, but you also got to do it on an emotional level too.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to talk about and admit, but it's very easy to like kind of, and tempting, attractive to be in a grumpy mood all day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard, certainly, to lift yourself out of that.
Yeah.
And it's probably not even cool some of the times too. But if you do a little something, and then you do another little something, pretty soon, you're going to be like just buzzing, but just like, why is my smiling so much all of a sudden?
And it feels
way better.
Yeah, way better. I really don't like the way it would feel if I don't do something I should be doing.
Right, exactly. It's like an annoying itch.
Yeah.
And it's nagging.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you know that there's a study that says about procrastination, how we actually our brain is going to find a way to not make you do something, because for him, if you do something new or something you have to do that is hard for you to do,
right,
it's gonna for him it's trying to make you afraid of that new person you're about to become.
Interesting.
So it puts you in a scary mode, like you feel threatened about something, so that you have emotions.
It's going to change me.
Yeah, and it's almost like it makes you afraid of the person you're going to become.
Yeah.
When you're going to be doing this thing.
Right.
And that triggers emotions for you to not do it.
Yeah, and eventually it'll make you not even start.
Yeah.
And that's so wild. But yeah, you're exactly right though. It's, you're starting to get afraid of this change that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a change.
Because everything we do is we identify ourselves with what we are doing.
Right.
And we always kind of become someone else.
Yes.
We always do something that's this person would do. If you do that, that's kind of person that would do it. Like we were talking last time about like running.
Mm-hmm.
If you never run, and one day you choose to run, your brain is going to be like, well, that means we're going to become a runner.
Yeah.
I don't like
you're a
that.
runner now, huh?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't want that person to be around me.
Right.
So it's going to protect you from becoming this person.
This new identity.
Yeah, with that, emotions of that. So it's basically because we do things, like new things we want to do, achieve, and all these things we think that comes from outside. Oh, you should be doing this or that if you want to become successful and everything.
Right.
And in that study it says that we are afraid of success. We're actually not afraid of success. We're afraid of the person we're going to become when we're successful.
Right. Because it's a different person.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is, in a weird way, it's kind of a valid fear that your mind has, because you're going to change.
Yeah.
But get over it.
Yeah.
How would you say how would you trick your mind to get over that fear? Do the thing.
Get in a habit of doing little things, like just you were saying, like one little thing at a time.
Right.
And just do it right away.
Don't worry. Yeah, run a quarter of a mile. Don't worry, you're not going to become a runner.
There is, I think, a time frame where you have a lot of willpower, and that's when before the judgments start to kick in.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it lasts about a few seconds, about something from my experience.
The willpower side of it.
Yes, before you're gonna judge yourself for what you're about to do.
Right.
So you have like maybe like 10 to 20, maybe 30 seconds where you can be like taking actions or not. And then if you actually take action, you bypass this emotion, like,
take the action.
The emotion always like shows up anyway.
Yeah.
But you already took action, so you're in the process of doing it anyway.
Yeah.
You started the transformation within you.
Right.
Or becoming that person who does that thing.
Yeah.
If you wait,
you think too much.
You're gonna start thinking because of the judgment you have on yourself. And
right.
Again, it's like ego.
Yeah. And then you're trapped.
And we always think that things are hard to do. When that's totally not the truth.
Totally not true.
Everything in life, to me, it's easy.
Yes.
Everything. Right. That's the first thing you gotta tell yourself if you want to be able to live a better life.
Yeah.
And do the things you actually meant to do.
Everything
where you find purpose in.
Yeah. And the action part of it is like just get started.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Just do it right away.
Just do it.
And it's a habit.
Yeah.
Really.
A common thing that I think about, or that kind of traps me sometimes is, let's say, okay, but I'll use like today, for example. After this, I'm going to go home and I want to do a little workout and I want to go for a little run. Now, what'll happen if I don't take that action, right away, as soon as I can, is I'll start to worry, okay, do I have enough time for this?
Yes.
What's traffic going to look like? Am I going to be too tired when I teach? All these things compound. So you just got to do it. Don't like sit and like think what if on the negative side of it. Like just get started. Yeah. And even if it's the tiniest little run and the weirdest little nothing workout, it's like just get started. Yeah, I think it's a healthy way to be a driven person. Yeah. Being driven sometimes had a bad connotation because it's like you do too much, you're too focused on that. Yeah, you're a hustle culture. You overwork. Yeah, exactly. Being driven, I think, to me, is like keeping the momentum of what you're about to do. Yeah. And of course, you got to schedule things accordingly to your time and your energy you have. Yeah. So don't overdo or don't push too much for too many days in a row. But if you manage to have tasks and be like, now the moment I step in my apartment, this is what I'm going to be doing. Right. And then just do it. You don't have to rush on anything. No. Just do it. Just do it. And just little things one at a time. Yeah, and just do the thing, and that will naturally kind of like kill a bit of that judgment. Yeah. It's like, hey, how hard can you judge yourself? You're already doing it. Yeah, it also kills anxiety. It kills anxiety. Because most of the time, anxiety is like actions we don't take. Yeah. This is why we feel that way. Yeah.
It's actually actions we need to take.
Right.
And that's why I'm so against people who are against anxiety. Like, I
Sure.
think anxiety is a good thing
Oh,
for
it's
me.
natural.
It just guides you to the things you should be doing.
Yeah.
Basically,
It's a gut feeling where it's like, okay, this isn't right. This is,
Yeah.
it's so, yeah, it's all part of it. Don't take medicine to numb it.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing to do.
Yeah. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's not anything else. You can't blame
And honestly,
social media. You can't blame
No.
other things, doom scrolling.
No.
It's like, no, dude, you got to picture, like, here's a funny thing for me. And just because maybe having other people watch me all the time would be the cure for it. I picture like there's a camera on me, all the time.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
oh, look, Mike's just sitting now. Mike's just sitting and thinking.
Mhm.
He's procrastinating again. He's not taking action.
Yeah.
It's like, if you start to think like, in a good way, not in a weird way,
Sure.
but your life is on display.
Yeah.
And you want to inspire people, and you want to do the stuff you're supposed to do. And
No, it's such a great method to do things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Picture like, hey man, I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
And just,
In a way, I had this conversation maybe a week ago, something about that. Yeah, where as a kid, I always thought I was being observed
right.
all the time.
It's a good
And
mindset.
And to me, it was I never. At some point, I thought it was something wrong.
Right.
I was like, I should maybe not do the thing this way.
It's the best thing.
But in a way, it's great because you cannot always do the right thing for yourself and for others.
Yeah.
You if you catch yourself lying or doing something really wrong, you feel like a little guilt
Sure.
because you know that you were being observed.
Yes. That
And,
feedback is instant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like kind of it feels to me now like to be like, oh yeah, God is watching me.
Right. Yeah. Hey, that's good, man. That's
so
exactly.
Because of that, you're not gonna do something wrong.
Right. And what's right too, and all the time what you're supposed to be doing. It's never a mystery.
No, that's true.
It's like, oh, I guess that should be for sure, man. It's from within.
Yeah.
It's inside you.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
And we give ourselves not enough credit on that. We're always, and I think this is the age of information, which is wonderful because anything you truly don't know, you can find very quickly. But you got to go back to the wonder side of things where you actually do know it and you can contemplate it and you can think it. There's a lot more within than you think.
A lot more, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's powerful right there. Yeah. Like you're being observed all the time. And if it's God, if it's your best friends and your family, whoever it is, whoever you care about, whoever you want to impress, even, your haters, I don't know.
And there's a lot of peace to it.
Yes.
It's like, I'm doing the right thing because I'm not here to do, stupid, dumb stuff.
Exactly.
That brings to nothing, that doesn't make
Waste
me
of time.
happy, that you kind of upset other people too.
Yeah.
It's not the point. You can upset people by trying to getting attention and inspire them maybe somehow.
Right.
But in a way, just
get in and get out.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing. Do your thing.
I've seen a couple of videos of this where a guy will be taking videos of everyone at the gym. They'll be sitting at the bench press rack on their phone.
Yeah.
It's like 9 benches of everyone just on their phone. It's like, bro, which, take your breaks between your sets and stuff, but oh my goodness, if you just had this mindset like, okay, there's an audience, there's people watching me, no one's gonna watch you when you're on your phone. That's not fun for anybody.
Yeah, definitely not.
Take your rest, take some breath,
talk to someone maybe, or if you need to stay in your mindset for lifting, whatever you're doing, and just be focused in the moment, focus on the way you breathe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against 100% not being on your phone, but
sure.
I don't know.
But people
It's your mind. It's your mind. I mean, it's going from a space to another where you're in a new space, you work out, you take a break, you rest for 90 seconds, and just scroll down or look at your phone or work, what you do, like check
Sure.
out your emails.
Yeah.
It shifts you into something different.
Yes, absolutely.
So you got to bring your awareness again back to
Back
it,
to you.
back to you to be able to do work properly.
Right.
Which is, I think, some kind of a waste of energy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because it is a lot of focus that you're putting into something external.
Yeah.
And it's just, so things like checking your email, checking your texts, and replying and doing stuff is important. None of that takes a great deal of time. And the amount of focus just to get these little dopamine hits and stuff is a lot.
Dude.
And that can be draining.
Yeah. I think you're breaking the momentum of it.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, oh, that break went on for like 8 minutes because I was just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's certainly, you got to be aware. And if that means setting a timer for yourself or doing something, that's going to snap you right back,
Yeah.
it's good to do.
Yeah.
But get the things done. Get started simple,
Yeah.
get the thing done. It's okay to be talented, but it's not okay to neglect the work.
No.
Even if it's a small amount. A penny is 100% more value than no penny.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I like to invest as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I cannot invest like barely anything.
Sure.
But what I can invest, I do it.
Yeah.
Just because of doing it.
Yeah.
And not trying to be like, oh, when is going to be a better time when I have more to invest in.
Right.
I always try to really invest money or invest my time or whatever I can, even though I have nothing.
Exactly. It's like, do a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Invest a little small amount.
Yeah.
And time is finite. We all have 24 hours in a day, so that you cannot afford.
Which I think that can be maybe a discussion for our next episode. But
yes,
more I think about it, more I kind of feel as like a sense that time can be stretchable or you can shrink it.
Yes,
depending on how the way your mindset is, the way how you vibrate,
you can manipulate
and what
time.
you do. And I think there is like a bit of inconsistency in time that we can, as human beings, I think we're about to tap in more and more as we're being aware of how
time works,
but how our mindset can be used for working and doing whatever we want to do.
Exactly.
So we can maybe remember that topic for next time.
Yeah, I think that's
put
perfect.
A note down.
It's about time. Time manipulation.
Yep.
And so, just to ask our followers, our listeners, what is something that you're going to do that you've been putting off, maybe to procrastination?
Yeah.
What is something you want to do? You can do a tiny little amount of today.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a dream thing, and the dream could be as grandiose as you've ever imagined it.
Mm-hmm.
But what is a tiny step that you could take today, right now? Let us know what it is. For me, it's skateboarding. I'll skateboard maybe 10 minutes when I get home. I'll do a couple of push-ups, a few squats.
Yeah.
But what's a small little something that you're gonna do today?
Yeah.
Ideally, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You can take 5 minutes. Just ponder on it, think about it, and then do something different and be aware of the person you're gonna become when you do this. And
Ooh, that's what I'm gonna talk about next time. Be, do, and have.
Be, do, and have.
Write that down real quick.
Sounds good.
Be, do, and have. We'll talk about that next time.
And then the time construct.
Time construct. Yep.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Yes. Cheers, you guys. That was great. Hope to catch you in the next one.
Don't forget to like the video.
And please subscribe. See you guys in the next one.